Hi, everyone, and welcome to Hanging Out with Heather. We have a great show today. We have three great pet professionals that I happen to know personally. Our first guest today is Robin Ellman. She is the president of In-Home Pet Services, and she's also the Pet Tech Pet CPR and First Aid Instructor. Hi, Robin.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Great, I'm very happy to be here, excited to be on your show.
Thank you, and thanks for coming. So, tell us how it all started. You began a pet sitting company called In-Home Pet Services back in 2008?
Yeah, 2002 actually.
2002.
We started In-Home Pet Services. I always loved animals, and people don't realize that I actually never owned a dog before growing up. My dad was allergic to dogs, and so I always loved animals. It actually drew me closer to animals. And I went to school, I have a degree in biology, and I was actually a zookeeper at the Bronx Zoo. And so that started off my career working with animals. Of course, I took the pet store route first. Growing up, I always had jobs in a pet store. After I realized that the Bronx Zoo wasn't the whole career path that I wanted, I had to have some career and do something else. So I was interested in dog walking and pet sitting, and I learned everything I could about dogs and their behavior and taking care of them. And I started out with one client with a business card that I made myself, put it up in a pet store, and the rest, they say, is history.
Well, I know that for a fact because as you know in my introductory video, I own one of Robin's franchises. I own the North Shore Gold Coast location, dog walking and pet sitting. But Robin teaches a very important class, Pet CPR and First Aid. So tell us how you even got into that and tell us all about the class.
Okay, yeah, the class is amazing. I know I'm biased, but it really is. It's basically how to handle any single emergency that can ever happen with your pet. So people see pet CPR and they think right away, oh, we're just going to learn CPR, which of course is important. But it's not only that. You learn how to handle any single emergency that can happen with your pet. And it could be choking, bleeding, poisoning. I mean, practical things like holidays are coming up, Thanksgiving, you know, what to do if your pet eats a poisonous food, what to do if your pet is hit by a car. So many different things that can happen at the dog park if a dog is involved in a fight. So it's a really great class, but the way I became involved in it is a little bit of a sad story. I actually don't tell it too often, but when I first started pet sitting, I walked into one of my clients' homes who bred English and French bulldogs. And it was a warm summer day, and the dogs were outside. And when I walked into their outside facility, I guess you would say, one of the dogs had passed. And it looked like they were actually passed very recently. They were still warm, and I had no idea what to do. I didn't even know about CPR. I didn't even know that was such a thing. And so when I saw the opportunity to be trained in pet CPR and first aid, I immediately took it so I wouldn't feel helpless if I had a situation like that come up again. But then I realized how important the class was and that every single person that has a pet or that can possibly lay their hands on a pet in any part of a day at any time should be trained in those life-saving skills. So that's really a little bit about why I decided to become an actual instructor to teach pet CPR and first aid.
Now, just for example, that scenario, I would assume, would have been heat stroke that killed the dogs.
Exactly.
So now you know, as an instructor, give us an example of what someone would do in the case of heat stroke.
Exactly, and that's very common in the summer months, especially for those brachycephalic breeds, and for those of you who don't know, that's flat-faced breeds. So they have less surface area to breathe, and dogs cool themselves off exclusively by panting. And so they're much more susceptible to having a heat injury. So in the class you learn all the different signs and, you know, clinical different things to know about and what to do. And some of those things is as simple as pouring water on a pet, cold water. Never want to use ice. A lot of people don't know that. Ice will actually constrict capillaries, causing more heat to be trapped in. So never want to put ice in them, but remove them from the heat if they're having a heat injury, like heat stroke or heat exhaustion, and pour water on them as quickly as possible. But the class, like I said, is empowering. And I always feel that knowledge is power. And when you feel like you know what to do, that's a very powerful thing, of course, which will not only help you, but possibly save your pet's life.
And I just want everyone to know that I did take Robin's class twice. But sometimes you're in the middle of an emergency, and this is a true story. I run a dog group called the Long Island Smush Face group, so it is all those breeds that she happens to be talking about. I have a Boston Terrier, But I happened to be having one of my dog groups at the dog park, and I called Robin because I know these people needed help. I heard over in the large dog run screaming, and two dogs' collars got attached, and one of them was choking because it tied together, and they finally cut the dog collar off, but it was passed out and in shock. So I called Robin and I said, what do I do? And she said, run over there and lift his legs and give him sips of water. They thought that the dog was going to pass. I couldn't believe it, and I felt so good afterwards. I remember calling you saying, oh my God, it worked. And I just went over and I told everyone to stand back, and I held the dog's back legs up a little bit and elevated them, gave it sips of water, and she just came to life, and all of a sudden just got up and ran off and was happy. And it's the best feeling in the world. Like you said, knowledge is power. And I was so happy that I had the resources to call you, because I took the class and you remember things, but you got to refresh. And it is an amazing class, and I always tell everybody to take it. Tell everyone about the class, how long it is, where you have them,
Yeah,
when
sure.
your next one is.
Just a quick note about your story, actually. When the two collars get stuck together or the jaw gets stuck on the collar, that's actually more common than people think. And we actually did have one student who took my class resuscitate their dog who was completely gone. They did CPR and breathing, and the dog had no permanent injuries and brought them back to life. So it happens a lot, and it's one of our most successful stories for the class. But about the class, so it's 4 hours long, sometimes 4.5 hours. And like I said before, you learn how to handle any emergency that can happen with your pet. At the end of the class, which is really great, you actually get a 2-year certificate that you can take with you anywhere for the class. And it's great to show that you're trained, especially if you're a pet professional. You can advertise on your website or to your clients that you are trained in pet CPR and first aid. But it is for dog and cat owners equally. So if you have a dog or a cat or just work with pets, it's definitely, you will not regret taking the class. It really is amazing. And there is a fee for the class. It's between $79 and $85 usually. It depends where the classes are held and at what facility. We do a lot of classes for charities and other organizations. So a lot of times proceeds from the class will be donated back to a rescue group or other nonprofit group.
And I'm telling you, it is a lifesaver. So take the class. Robin, when's the next class coming up?
So our next class, the date is actually being finalized right now, but it's most likely going to be in Nassau County on December 5th. But we post everything on our website when all the classes are held. Yep,
where to find you and the class.
So you can find any of our classes right on our website and on our Facebook page. And our website is www.inhomepetservices.com. And you can look us up on Facebook by either searching In-Home Pet Services or just go to facebook.com/In-Home Pet Services.
And Robin, you own In-Home Pet Services. So what other services do you provide?
So our main business, beside the fact that I'm a pet CPR instructor, our main company does dog walking, pet sitting, and in-home boarding. So dog walking and pet sitting is our main business.
And you became a franchiser.
I did.
When did that happen? And tell us why you wanted to become one.
Sure.
And all about it.
Sure. So in 2008, we actually opened our first franchise. But years before that, I always knew that eventually this was the path that I wanted to take. So like we talked about, I started in 2002, and the business was very successful. All the research I did and reading and work to grow the business and learn how to do it right was paying off. And I knew that I couldn't keep expanding to farther and farther areas just myself, or even just having staff. It wasn't able to be run the way I wanted it to be run. And I constantly got calls from all different areas, further and further away. And people would say, oh, well, I'm only 5 minutes from this area, and I'm only 5 minutes from this area. But, I'd be in, Delaware already by now. And so I did so much, again, research. People don't go to the library that much anymore, but it's where I learned everything on how to open a franchise and start it. And I spent a few years working on the operations manual of how to run the business. And it's not only that I wanted more people to be able to use our service, the people that were calling us, but I also saw the need for people who wanted to work with animals and have their own business and maybe didn't necessarily have all the tools at their disposal or know what to do. And they were too maybe afraid to go into business for themselves, to help those people. Because we had staff of dog walkers, and I saw so much potential in a lot of them. And I knew they would want to do something like this, but they didn't necessarily know how. So just in so many different ways, franchising just made sense, and to go that route. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't all, wonderful and say, oh, great, I have, 13 locations today, 12 franchises. We're very successful. Everyone's happy. And that took a lot of work. It didn't just happen. So in 2008, after a lot of work, we opened our first franchise in Brooklyn.
And where are they all located now?
So yeah, like I said, we have 13 locations. We have my company-owned location, which is Northeast Queens, and we have 12 franchises. They're all in New York right now. They're from Brooklyn all the way out to Suffolk County. So we have Brooklyn, Queens, Nassau, and Suffolk County. And of course, we're always looking to expand, but it's all about finding that perfect pet owner that also wants to run their own business and uphold the reputation that we've worked so hard to build after all of these years.
So you want to let people know that franchises are available to buy.
Absolutely.
And they're very affordable because I have one. So I can tell you that. And again, on Robin's website, she has a whole franchise page. She has a video. She tells you everything about it. And then you would come and interview with Robin if she thought you were a good fit. So you would go to inhomepetservices.com. But it's definitely great for somebody who wants to get into a business and doesn't know much about it. So you have all the support system there already for you. That's why I did it that way. It's very hard to start your own business no matter what, but it definitely was easier for me that way. And I have had mine for 5 years now.
Oh, I didn't even realize. Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, 5-year anniversary in November.
Yeah, and it's, like you said, it's being part of a family. It's all about the support, and being part of a franchise gives you a lot of ways to get more help than in being business on your own. And we actually won 2 years in a row by Franchise Business Review, the #1 pet franchise in the entire country. And so we're very, very proud of that.
Okay, Robin, so we have just another minute. Besides the business, if there's anything else you want to mention about your services, let me know. But I always ask everybody, what is something that people would be surprised to know about you?
Okay, so something people would be surprised to know about me that I guess now people will know is that I actually am also an adult figure skater. So I took up figure skating as an adult, and I do competitions, and I have a coach. And with my very, very limited time outside of the business, I practice. So I practiced today, went to the Great Neck Ice Rink, did some moves, and that's something interesting that people don't know about me. I guess now they will.
You're always shy about talking about it.
I am.
But she's good.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you want to briefly just wrap up about in-home pet services, what do you want to say?
Well, basically, I love my job. I love this business. I'm really proud of everything we've built. I'm proud of all locations throughout the whole tri-state area. I'm hoping to grow more in the near future. I'm hoping to find more dedicated, animal lovers that really want to open their business so we can expand even further and we can help bring other people, pet owners, to be able to use our services. And as importantly, I would like every single person in all of this area to become trained in pet CPR and first aid because it is so important. And holidays are coming up and you always have that, hard to buy for person. So if you have a hard to buy for person who has a pet, buy them a seat in our class, in one of our upcoming classes. It's a gift that would last forever, or every 2 years.
That's actually a great gift idea. I didn't think of that. Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Heather. It was so much fun.
And we're going to cut to a commercial. And when we come back, we have Matt Stein from Beyond Pet Sitting, who was the top dog trainer at North Shore Animal League. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hog's hair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly using Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Galaxy Luxury Coach is a full-service limousine and party bus company. Family-owned and operated, we are an industry leader with over 25 years of experience in providing best-in-class luxury transportation for your special event. Whether it's your precious wedding day, an all-day wine tour out east, your high school prom, that special birthday, or just an amazing night on the town, our professional chauffeurs stand ready to ensure your special event is truly special. Galaxy Luxury Coach has one of the largest and modern party bus fleets in the New York area. Our party buses are simply nightclubs on wheels. Concert sound systems, light shows, lasers and strobes, multicolor LED lighting brilliantly lights your party bus inside and out. For corporate and more laid-back events, we will cater to your specific needs and requests. What sets Galaxy aside from all others in the luxury transportation industry is our attention to detail in customizing our services to your special event. At Galaxy, it's all about you and your guests. Galaxy customers return time and time again because they know they can trust Galaxy to help deliver those lifetime memorable moments. Step aboard and let your Galaxy experience begin. Galaxy Luxury.
Welcome back to Hanging Out with Heather. My next guest is Matt Stein. He's a certified master dog trainer and the owner of Beyond Pet Sitting. Hi, Matt. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Heather. Pleasure to be here today with you.
I'm glad you're here. Matt, tell us about your dog training and Beyond Pet Sitting business. What are your services?
Okay, Heather, the services we provide at Beyond Pet Sitting are dog walking, dog training, and pet sitting. The dog training is more my expertise. I'm a private in-home dog trainer. How I got started in it was I always enjoyed animals as a young child, and particular dogs. So then I wanted to do something I enjoyed as a career. So I adopted a dog at a local shelter in Freeport, actually, where I grew up. I enjoyed having the company of the dog, but then being that I wanted to become a trainer, I actually hired a professional dog trainer to learn about dog training. And when I did that, he thought that I had a gift for training as well, and he thought that was something I could do as a career as well. So then I decided to volunteer at the North Shore Animal League America, where I volunteered in the training department. And then from there, I learned to be a dog trainer. I worked there for about 9 years and worked my way up to the head dog trainer, where I was also in charge of setting up behavioral protocols for dogs. What I found working there was that a lot of the dogs were returned for adoption after being adopted for behavioral reasons. So many dogs actually need training in the home as well, and it needs to be followed up in the home.
So tell us when somebody, first of all, I think people go into the shelter
Right.
and they have an idea in their head of what breed they're looking for, and they look for the most adorable dog or or certain breed,
Yes.
but they might not be the right fit.
Right. Thank you,
So
Heather.
tell us what they should be looking for when they're going for a pet.
Right. Many people, when they go in looking for a pet, are looking for a specific breed, okay, or an ideal dog that would fit what they would like. But temperament always overrides breed. So one of the things we provide at Beyond Pet Sitting, also as a trainer, I can come in and help somebody pick out a dog from a shelter or a breeder. Okay, so then they can find the right match, because a lot of the reasons why what I was saying before was people do return dogs because they have the wrong match, and you really want to find the right match. That's very important, and that's based on energy level, the right amount of exercise the dog will need, and temperament. Just like people have different personalities, dogs have different temperaments. So you have dogs that are confident, and it may not match the temperament of the people in the home. So they really want to get the right temperament to achieve harmony in the pack or the home.
So it brings up a good question. If somebody, I hear stories all the time being in the pet industry of people returning dogs back to a shelter because
Yes.
of behavioral problems. So what's a fair shake to bring them home and have a trainer come in and work with them before they go ahead and return them right away, or they give them a week or two? I mean, what do you really think is a fair amount of time to have a trainer work with the dog so that they can keep them as a forever home?
Well, I mean, it depends on the individual dog and what behavioral issues they need to address with the dog. What I found, again, back to the North Shore Animal League, what I found that sometimes you could save the adoptions if you could talk to the people and get them on the right track, and understanding how dogs think. And then you could work with them one-on-one. But when I evaluate dogs, I evaluate the temperament and what goals the people want to accomplish. It goes together. Many dogs, like we said, are returned for behavioral reasons. And having evaluated hundreds, thousands of dogs, I can understand what dogs would go well with certain people and what to look for, and then that helps people find the right match based on their lifestyle as well. Because it is a commitment to having a dog, but you got to look at the whole picture from the dog's point of view, and that's a big part of what I do, is looking at dogs from the dog's point of view, how they think, how they interact with people, and how you can have, like we say, harmony in the pack or family.
And you mentioned that you do real life training method.
Yes.
What is that?
Okay, real life training is basically not just teaching dogs. Many people understand that you can teach dogs commands: sit, walking on leash, down, stay, which is great. But we need to be able to put it into real life. So for example, if you have a dog that's doing behaviors you don't want him to do, you don't just want to go about correcting the behaviors he shouldn't do. You want to also teach him what he should do. So for example, if you are eating and you have a dog that's a beggar, for example, he may not be really begging, he may be telling you that he wants your food. So one of the things is that you want to get the dog to understand that he can have a job to do while you're eating. So therefore, let's say teaching him a downstay when you're eating is a good thing to do, because then the dog will be relaxed when you're relaxed eating. And then you're not worried about continually stopping the dog or preventing the dog from doing behaviors you don't want him to do. He'll associate, okay, when you eat, I lay down by your feet. Now, saying that and doing that are two different things. You have to be able to teach the dog to be mentally relaxed and also listen with distractions. Because real life training is that. It's in real life. It's not just going through exercises and training the dog what to do, but also being practical about it. Like, for example, many people will tell you, I don't want my dog running out the door. So then you want to train the dog to look to you for guidance at the door. So a lot of what real life training is basically teaching the dog to look to you for guidance, and then learn commands, but in the right mental state. As people, we generally also reward the excited happy dog. And we really all want the calm happy dog. So I try to teach people through body language of themselves and reading and reacting to the dog how to properly train the dog to look to them for guidance, and also what to reward, what not to reward. Because a lot of training is training ourselves, not just training the dog. Because, again, training takes, I would say, it'll test your patience and determination way before other things. So you have to have the right mindset. We love dogs, we can be emotional, but we have to analyze the dog in a behavioral sense. And that's a lot of what I learned through working through the North Shore Animal League is to be hands-on, but look at dogs in a behavioral sense. And then you can address what the dog needs and the dog's needs, and then you fulfill both your needs of having a companion, but also the dog's needs of having a leader. Because we want to be the friend of the dog, but the leader first, okay? And then everything falls into place in harmony in the pack, because then the dog knows his role and we know our role and everything is clear. Most dogs do not want to be the leader. So you'll work with dogs that may be a mixture of different temperaments too. You'll have dogs that are fearful and confident in certain situations. So that means that we have to read and react to the dog in the situation in the present. And that's why we learn a lot from dogs, in that they're in the present. And we need to be in the present when we work with them and read and react to what they're doing. So real life training, again, is about getting the dog in the right mindset and having ourselves in the right mindset. And then it all works together. And we also have to keep in mind too, when we have a family, we want to have everybody on board as far as the temperament and the match with the dog, so that's back to finding the right match. But then when we have the dog already, we want to make that commitment to keeping the dog and training the dog. And then again, we get back to well-trained dog is a happy dog.
Can you share any personal stories from dogs you've worked with, rehabilitated, and later followed up in their home?
Yes. When I was at North Shore Animal League, obviously I worked with many dogs, hundreds of dogs, actually, when you add it up. But there were many dogs I remember in particular over the years that I learned a lot of lessons from. For example, a dog named Bonnie was actually a reclaim, we would call it. She was in a home. Unfortunately, she was left there after the owner left the home, and they found the dog in the house in a crate. So she could have been there for a few days, they're estimating. So it is a sad story. But when the dog was brought back to the North Shore Animal League, obviously she was very fearful. The thing is with dogs is you got to remember is it takes time and trust. So we got to look at it from the dog's point of view, not our own point of view. So this is a dog, Bonnie, that was a collie mix, a female dog. She was the type that she was so fearful, even though you could have met the dog several times, she would still react in a fearful state. So we have to see how the dog is from her point of view. So now this is a dog that's in a shelter, okay, was abandoned by the owner, okay, and now in a shelter and doesn't know anybody that's coming to take the dog out. So her fearful reaction is based on everybody's a threat. So what that took is a lot of time and trust to bond with this dog, because even though we want to come at the dog as a friend, the dog sees us as a threat, unfortunately. So what we have to do is through time and patience and trust, we can establish a relationship with the dog and then move the dog forward into training. So this is a dog that couldn't be taught all your formal commands right away, even though we might want to teach the dog that. From the dog's point of view, everybody was a threat. So then when I worked with her, it took a long time. And you can't put a time limit on fear. Fear is time and trust. So in working with her, it took several months before she could be put up for adoption. When she was finally adopted, it had to be a home that could trust her. The people having seen that the dog could move forward and be socialized helped a lot, but they needed help in the home too, adjusting the dog. So we didn't, at North Shore Animal League, we didn't just leave the dog and then, as far as being adopted, you had to follow up with the dog in the home. Similar to what I do now with in-home training, I come to the home and work with the dog and teach the people how to interact with the dog properly so that the dog does stay in the home. And that's what it's all about. Other dogs I worked with, I could mention different types of temperaments. I work with confident dogs, shy dogs, all different temperaments. And what she needed was time and trust. Another dog that I remember quite fondly, his name was Forrest. He was a German Shepherd, a purebred dog. Now, a lot of people were drawn to him, potential adopters, based on breed recognition, because here's a purebred, beautiful German Shepherd dog. And when you would have him out, many people would want to adopt him. However, they might not be the right match for him. And that's because he was a confident dog. So a confident dog needs to be socialized differently. He needs to know that it's your idea for him to meet people, or else you could get reactions that you don't want, and that could lead to behaviors that you don't want. You never want to set a dog up to fail. You want to set a dog up to succeed, same with a person, and that's important, setting both up to succeed in training, the dog and the person.
All right, Matt. Well, you have a family business with Beyond Pet Sitting for the dog walking and boarding part.
Yes.
You have your wife involved, your kids,
Yes,
family
yes.
members.
Yes, everybody's involved, even our family dog named Callie. Everybody's involved. She's involved in the dog walking when I do the pack walking. And some of our dogs are very social, so Callie enjoys playing with the dogs when we take in our exercise area. Plus, too, she enjoys walking with the dogs at times. As far as the kids go, you know, they'll see some of the dogs we work with as well. My wife and I both do dog walking and pet sitting, as well as my brother Mike. So it's definitely an all-around family business, and we enjoy it.
And you could actually go on their Facebook page, which is Beyond Pet Sitting Inc., I-N-C, Beyond Pet Sitting Inc., and Matt's giving away 10% off your next booking. So is this for training or any of your services?
Yes,
okay,
any of the services. So that could include pet sitting, dog walking, and training. Yes,
Okay,
10%
so
off.
go
Yes.
on Facebook.com, Beyond Pet Sitting Inc., and book a dog training session, a dog walk, or a night of boarding, and you'll get 10% off. Just say you saw the show Hanging Out with Heather for your discount. And it was great having you on the show, Matt.
Thank you, Heather.
You're very
Likewise.
knowledgeable. People would be very lucky to have you as a trainer. I refer you to people all the time. And keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
We're going to go to a quick commercial and come back with our next guest.
Welcome to Formula Auto Wash, where every day is a great day for a car wash. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. Sundays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Detailing packages for every budget, starting out at $29.99. 100% hand wash and detail centre. Hog's hair and microfiber brushes and mitts. Proudly used in Ecolab Blue Coral soaps and waxes. Formula Auto Wash has served the community for over 30 years. Senior discounts all day, every day. Ladies' Day Wednesday, $3 off any wash. Early bird discount Monday through Thursday till 9:30 a.m. Check out our website, formulaautowash.com.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
You smell so good, I won't have to bathe the next 2 weeks. Anything. So, here, laugh a little harder. All right? Here.
I will take him. I would be proud to show you off, you little old weirdo man.
Get a new sweater. The worst dressed man here tonight. Right? Look, get that laugh, and get it in there tonight because nobody else is gonna laugh like her. She's under drugs, all right?
Welcome back to Hanging Out with Heather. My next guest is Hope Garlick. She's the owner and founder of Little Paws of Hope, and she's a dog trainer, has a daycare and boarding facility. Hi, Hope. Welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Very excited.
You're finally here. Tell us about the services you provide.
All right. So I'm a certified dog trainer. I also provide in-home boarding in my home and daycare. We also provide, and we also provide a daycare training also.
And when did you start the business?
Well, I started training professionally in 2008, and I felt if I was going to do this, I should seek out some formal education, which I did with Animal Behavioral College and a few other, Ian Dunbar, a few other people who have been out in the field for a long time. And from there, just kind of grew, and my clients kept saying to me, "Do you board?" And I'm like, "In my house?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right." So then that's how that started, the boarding piece of it. You know.
And what was your inspiration for starting the business?
Well, in the field I was in, let me back it up a bit. I've always wanted my own business, but could never figure out what it was, what it would be. And it was under my nose the whole time because I was always training dogs, my own families, you know, as a kid. And it took me quite a while until I had a very difficult dog, very aggressive dog. And I decided I was going to train him. So I guess his name's Amadeus. He was my inspiration in doing it.
Okay, so now you have a house filled with dogs all the time, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I have 6 of my own. Well, now we say 6 1/4 because we got a new little one. And who are big in the business, in the training piece, in the boarding piece, because we specialize in fearful dogs, dogs with anxiety. So how do you help them? How do you develop that trust for just boarding? They're only going to be there a few nights.
Right.
And how do you develop that when you're going to other people's homes? Because it's a serious, serious phobia, especially anxiety. So some of my dogs, and one of them or 2 of them actually have their own fear and anxiety. Who today is almost a normal, annoying little min pin, which is what he should be. So it's come a long way in the training, and they help me. I can use them now to help the fearful dogs or dogs with anxiety when needed. It's very gratifying.
So you do boarding for regular temperamented dogs as well, or just
Yes,
the
no.
behavioral
Yes.
training dogs?
We do for regular happy-go-lucky dogs, lots of puppies. We do a lot of puppies. And, but we specialize in the fearful dogs. Dogs who wouldn't do well in a traditional place, that need that more attentive care, being able to read dog communication, training my staff to be able to read it so that you're keeping their brain in a calm state. And then when they go home, they're not, more stressed or stressed, that they went home happy. And it's been pretty successful, and clients seem to be very happy about it.
So before they board with you, do they usually have you come and do training on them first, or after they see how you've worked with them at the house, they call you to continue?
Yes, well, the process for the boarding piece is if it's a puppy, that we'll do a walkthrough. They can come to the home, see the place. I can get a little read on the puppy. But if it's an adult dog, 2 years or older, I go to the person's home and I'll do an in-home assessment there. Although I just say, oh, it's a very nice visit, but I'm really watching the temperament because they're more themselves at home than they're going to be. The personality is not going to show up day one and, out in a new environment. So some of them I can spot some things right away prior to the parents saying, like for example, if you go to pet them, I have a habit of always petting under because dogs tend to prefer that. But if most dogs don't like over the head, and I'll tend to do it purposely just to see if the dog is going to like duck or be like, what are you doing? So it's much more successful. On occasion, I've had a dog, I've had to recommend they do the boarding, have somebody come in their home.
Yeah.
That the dog just couldn't be able to handle it otherwise.
And you do specific training for lifestyle events?
Yes, and this is something new we've been doing in the last year or two. So we've had a lot of requests for people who want to have parties, and they don't want to put their dogs away. They want the dogs to be in the party. But some of the dogs will steal food and jump on people. So they'll hire me to appear as a guest of the party, and the whole entire time I am either training the dog or just making sure the dog appears to be well behaved. So I just did one recently, although it was a little unexpected, and I showed up in a white dress and didn't know I was going to be training the dog. So it was quite comical, a 7-month-old lab. And he kept grabbing the baby's toys. And I was like, okay, I'll do this. I got this. Just ignore the dog. And we, in the moment, in the party, we taught him to leave it, not to grab the baby's toys. And if he did, to give it back. And by the end of the party, the parents were like, give, and the dog would spit it out. They were like, oh my God. Or leave it before he took the baby's toy. And they were like, but we didn't see you training the dog. And I was like, well, that's why it's a life event. Just hang out, enjoy the party, have some wine, and enjoy the dog. Because the more you enjoy the dog, the happier you're going to be.
Yeah,
and it's
absolutely.
nice for them to be social. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Now, owning a dog walking, pet sitting business myself, the funny thing is I get the opposite. Can you take my dog? I'm having a party today. I don't want him around.
And that's true. We get a lot of clients that want to board their dogs, but I've noticed a little trend in people would like their dog to be social because they're part of their life.
Yeah.
They're a family member.
And now that people know about this service, it's great.
Right.
Because, as I was saying, that you three are all pet professionals. You all know your business very well. And I know you all personally. So I wanted all three of you on my show so that people don't understand that other businesses in the same field think it's a competition, but it's a collaboration.
It is.
So somebody could call me tomorrow and say, next Saturday I have a party and I don't want my dog here. Can you take my dog? And I can't. And I have no one available in my business to take the dog. So I could refer you and I'd be happy to. And you might have a larger dog that you don't do that type of training that you could now refer Matt Stein.
Right.
And then you could all of you could refer in-home pet services for pet CPR and first aid. So people get the wrong idea about competition. You collaborate with your fellow pet profession, people in
Right.
your profession, and we all refer each other.
Right, and I absolutely agree, because the clients out there, I don't want to leave them without a resource. Just because I can't do it, so you have nothing, just keep searching. I don't believe in that philosophy. You need to help them, educate them, and refer people that you truly believe in that's going to give them a great service just by, for example, I had a woman the other day on Yelp say, I need X, Y, and Z for her dog, and I was like, I'm sorry, dog walking she wants, which is not a part of my
Right,
business.
right.
And I said, I'm sorry, I don't do that. But however, in-home pet services, and
Exactly.
she was like, and she emailed me back and thanked me for that.
Right.
But, so it's very beneficial to us as professionals and to the public that is looking for services.
Of course.
Quality service.
And we all do something different. We all have something different. So it's great to be able to recommend each other. And I love to do that too. I get calls all the time for things we don't do. I mean, I don't have a groomer here today, but I get calls, we don't do grooming. So I
Right.
get calls all the
Right.
time. You do grooming? Come to my house. I don't, but I found good, groomers in the past 5 years doing this business, and I refer, and even with vets and everything else. But it's great for these three companies today to refer each other, definitely.
Yes, it should be a greater camaraderie. I'm sorry, I said that word wrong. But there should be,
Mm-hmm.
I feel, a greater relationship between us professionals. It's just beneficial to everybody.
Yes, definitely. Now, Hope has a video showing us a day in the life of Little Paws of Hope. So let's show the video.
Come on, let's go do pee-pee. Yay, yes, go do the pee-pee. Come on, come on. I can remember the first time we got a boarder here. I was running around the yard like, we got dogs, we got dogs. I was so excited. I don't ever want to lose that feeling. I kind of feel it's my responsibility, not just to be a dog trainer or a behaviorist, but to help people have the mechanics and skills so that they can communicate with the dog according to their lifestyle, the way that they live. So if it's somebody with a handicap or a speech impediment, you have to learn to work around that and just find the little thing that works between that individual and their dog. Stay, wait. He came, he sat, you dressed him, you put the leash on him. He stayed the whole time. Then you went, you got your bag, he stayed. That was very good. But here's how we can make it better. He didn't get no treat.
Oh, right. We're not in the habit of giving him a lot of treats, but we should be.
For this purpose, to make this better, we do boarding trains here as well for dogs who, a lot of housebreaking puppies, a lot of socialization, the sit, the down, the come, depending on the dog. So my 6 dogs who had all issues and now are pretty good. If I'm gonna do a doggy pickup, sometimes I'll take all 6 of my dogs and put them in the car. They have a nice doggy car seat. It continuously helps them feel like they're getting out, they're seeing things. I roll the window down when we get in the city. They hear different sounds and smells, and it just makes them more social and much more behaved. Sit down. Good girl. That's my mama. All right, come in.
It's a little stressful because I can't have company over as much as I would like, and it's just the barking sometimes gets to me. Sometimes he'll bark at like 6 in the morning when I'm trying to sleep. Hope has helped Primo and Julia with socialization. They are able to see other dogs and other people. So when I have people come over, they're not barking as much as they would used to.
The goal is the trigger of the doorbell or knock, they go here. So instead of being at the top of the stairs like they used to be, ah! And then we have a camera access in the daycare room where they can see their dog, web, mobile device. It's password protected. And sometimes they catch me in my pajamas. Sometimes one night It was a Friday night. I tried to take it easy on Friday. I came back from training. I had a red glass of wine and music, and I'm holding the dog, dancing around, and I get a text. It was the dog zone. Oh, I didn't know you could dance. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were watching me. What's really nice for me is when the parent says, man, my dog seems so much better when she comes home. I'm like, oh, yes. I like that, because I feel like I took it for granted in the beginning. I just do what I do, and I didn't really think I was doing anything. But when I hear the parents tell me that their dog is like so much better, then it's well worth it. One time I put all the dogs to sleep. They're in there sleeping 10 dogs. I'm with my 6 dogs on my couch watching a dog show. My friend's like, aren't you tired of dogs? I'm like, nope, I love it.
Hi, everyone. Well, welcome back to Hanging Out with Heather. I'm here with Hope Garlick, the owner and founder of Little Paws of Hope. Back with you, Hope.
Yes.
So, I always ask all my guests, tell us something surprising about you that no one would know.
Well, prior to opening my business, I had a very successful career in technology. And as much as I love technology, I wanted out. And
What'd you do?
I was actually from corporate then academic. I was a director for Pratt Institute in their computing facilities for about a good 12 to 13 years. So I was the person planning all the technology tools, in short, for the students there. It was very fulfilling and rewarding, but there was always something missing, always something. And I used to leave there on every Thursday to go train dogs. And a lot of my staff would say, where are you going every Thursday night? To train some dogs. And on weekends, and when I was in Brooklyn, I would do that. And they were like, really? I'm like, yes. And those little doggies pay a lot better attention than you guys. So, and then eventually I found a way to transition out. It was very difficult, very scary, but it was the best decision I ever made in my life. I just love the dogs and the people. So it's been very rewarding.
I say the exact same thing with my business,
Yeah.
that I love working with animals, and we all joke it's better than working with people, but I love my clients.
Yes.
I call my clients, the dogs are the clients, but I love their owners too. But
Yeah.
I love working with animals too. There's nothing like it. Tell everybody where they could find you.
Sure. So you can find us on littlepawsofhope.com, www.littlepawsofhope.com. We also have a Facebook link there and Twitter. We're also going to be offering 10% off on our training services to any of our direct viewers of Hanging Out with Heather. So feel free to say Hanging Out with Heather for that discount. And we'll be able to hopefully get you in as soon as possible.
If you want to
I'm
say
sorry, I
any-
lost my train of thought for a
Okay.
moment there.
Upcoming event.
Oh, our upcoming event, we're having a puppy social on November 6th from 3 to 5 p.m. at Little Paws of Hope. Just email us at info@littlepawsofhope.com so we can reserve you a spot. And we're very excited about the social. And also we'll be doing, have staff on hand to be doing any one-on-one questions and to help recognize any issues and any question, like I said, in any questions, and reading doggy communication. It'll be lots of fun.
Now, if you missed the show live today, make sure you like my Facebook page, Hanging Out with Heather. That's just hanging with no G, out with Heather. You'll see a YouTube video posted later. And thanks for all the viewers for watching today. And I want to thank Robin Ellman of In-Home Pet Services, Matt Stein of Beyond Pet Sitting, and Hope Garlick of Little Paws of Hope. Did you all get that? Because I'm going to test you. It was a great show today, a lot of great information. These are 3 of the best professionals you could work with, so give them a call, email them, get any information you need from them. And we had a great show today. I want to thank everyone for being here. And I'll see everybody next time.